Hey everyone, this is the second episode of the Guitar Setup mini-series, which will be all about setting up the string action of this Squire Affinity Telecaster. If you want to skip through certain parts, you can just click on the chapter you want to watch on the timeline. Before we get started, please make sure that your guitar's truss rod is already dialed in correctly. If you missed the first episode, which was about how to adjust the truss rod, you can find it here. This is Rena and you are watching Bandforge. What is a good setting for the string action? Well, this depends on your playing style. We'll go through the recommended settings for the beginner guitar player. In general, a good string action introduces the least amount of pressure on the fingers and at the same time allows for expressive playing styles without too much fret buzz. Where should I start and what tools do I need? The most essential tool is the fitting Allen key. On top of that, a capo helps, and both a string gauge and a radius gauge are required. But if you don't have any, you can check the links in the description below to either buy some or quickly make your own from my template. Print out the template, and when you do, make sure that you have all the scaling options unchecked in the printing dialog, because otherwise the gauges will be too small and therefore not usable. Once the print is ready, take a ruler and check the measuring box. Now it's time to roughly cut out the template and glue it on a piece of cardboard. If you've got a fancy workshop, you could print the template on DK foil and transfer it on a piece of metal. All other mere mortals, like me, will have to take a pair of scissors and carefully cut out the shape. The neater you cut, the better your guitar will play, so take your time. With your all-in-one gauge ready, we can finally get started with the adjustment. If you find my template helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Before we adjust anything, hold your guitar in a playing position. Then tune it and take a capo to clamp down the strings at the first fret. Take the right Allen key that fits the two tiny screws at the saddles. Measure the distance between the low E string and the 12th fret with the string gauge. Aim for the 0.06 inches mark. Turning the saddle screws clockwise will raise the saddle, and turning counterclockwise will lower it. Additionally, the saddle should always be parallel to the bridge, so both tiny screws should be adjusted at the same height. While doing so, please keep in mind that the saddle height alters the string tension. Accordingly, when you raise one of the saddles, be careful not to break a string and hurt yourself. This could be especially dangerous to your eye. So for safety, it's better to tune the string down slightly before you raise the saddle. Check the playability of the adjusted string and keep in mind that not all the fret buzz you hear will be noticeable when you play over an amplifier. So my advice is to check this setting with an amp. If you don't have an amp, a little bit of buzz that still lets the sound of the note come through is fine. Repeat the same steps with the high E string. Set up the distance to 0.05 inches. This is a little smaller because the thinner string has a smaller amplitude when struck. Do the same test for fret buzz too. The fastest way to dial in the rest of the strings is to lower the saddles of the A, D, G and B strings and place your radius gauge on top of the strings. Now carefully raise the saddles until all the strings lightly touch the radius gauge. Once you're done, tune all the strings and check the setting for fret buzz with an amp. Try out how the guitar plays now. If the strings still feel too high, repeat the steps while aiming for 0.05 inches for the low E string and 0.04 inches for the high E string. On the other hand, if the string action feels too low for you, try out 0.065 inches for the low E string and 0.055 inches for the high E string. If the sound gets harshly muffled at certain frets while the truss rod is adjusted and the string action is at a sensible height, there's a problem with the fretwork. To be more specific, it means that at least one of the frets itself is higher than the others. This can be revealed with a fret rocker, which is a special tool, but when you experience things like that, the best option here would be to give your guitar to an experienced luthier who will file down any imperfection all over the fretboard. That's all for the string action setting. Thing is, you might notice that even if your strings are perfectly in tune when played open, they don't sound in tune when you play the higher frets. This is a problem with the intonation, and we'll fix that next week. So please make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification so you won't miss it. This wraps it up for the procedure of setting up the string action. I hope this was easy to follow, and if you have any questions, of course, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and see you next week. Bye!